Welcome to Threefold Talk. Bain&Chiad, Melindhra, it's lovely to see you. All of you in the chat, so lovely to see you.
Hi, friends.
Hi.
I don't know if you guys noticed, we all have our lipstick game on today, so please feel free to appreciate that in the comments.
I would kiss my camera, but then it would be all murky for the rest of the show.
Yeah, so please feel free to compliment how great we look in the comments. Melindhra, how are you?
I'm good. I had a really enlightening day today in kind of the best way. I mean it was all kind of work stuff, but there was a lot of discovering new connections and new partners. That was all really exciting for the stuff that we do. So yeah, I feel like kind of inspired for the future today. That's how I feel.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Bain&Chiad, how are the both of you doing?
The both of us are doing okay. I wish I had such an inspiring day. I've been trying to wrap up at my job, and so it's been a little bit crazy, very emotional. I've had some people already sort of saying goodbye to me and saying nice things, and a lot of memories coming up. And yeah, it's been it's so weird. I don't know how often you all have left jobs or if people in chat have left jobs, but this is the first job I've left in 15 years. So it's a very weird feeling.
Yeah.
I'm still processing. So
I feel like you are a really rare exception in the world today. A lot of people switch jobs I don't know, every 3 years or something like that. And staying in something for 15 years is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I told someone today I feel very entangled with it, and I need to disentangle myself over this next week, and it's going to be pretty difficult for me, I think. So,
understand.
How are you, Shelly?
I'm doing okay. I was telling you guys before, I had a weird day at work today where I had to leave work because there was just a gentleman sitting next to me who missed his calling to be in the opera, and his voice was just so loud it went through my earplugs and noise canceling headphones. So that was quite interesting. But all in all, a pretty good day. I made some yummy food, pet my cat, wrote a report. It's pretty good. And it's funny because I have left several jobs. Usually I think my average is around 3 to 4 years. I switch between jobs. So 15 years in one place is just mind-boggling to me. And I still sometimes have I still have friends from those old things, and we get together 15 years later and we're like, oh man, remember how crazy that workplace was? So it won't all go away. It will be an adjustment. There will be a little bit of mourning, but I think you'll be good. It'll be a good change.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be making the change if I didn't think it was the right thing. So I know it will feel right. It's just so weird. Transitions in general are weird.
Yeah. So Foldies in the chat, tell us how your day was. We want to know. Today is an emotionally supportive day of Threefold Talk.
That's right. It's one of our best and most favorite, most original segments, Ask a Wise One and Dream Walking. We're so excited.
Statistically, the best segment.
Statistically. I would be curious about that. I wonder if I've never really looked at how many views certain episodes have had, but I wonder if where the Ask a Wise Ones rank, because in my heart they rank at the top, but I don't know about statistically. I do not know.
Heart statistics count today.
Oh, thank you, Goat Brother. Thank you for the good luck and best wishes. I appreciate that. All right. Well, before we get started, we want to remind you all that there is currently a writers and actors strike, and we support them 100%. So we do have the link in the description to this video, as well as pinned to chat, on how you can donate to support these amazing creators that are currently not working for very good reasons. And we'll also put the banner up as well to remind you that even though we are talking about the show as fans, we do support those who are not working right now because of the strikes. So,
and if
you can support,
there's another thing. There's a tangible, physical way that you can gain enjoyment of our fandom and also support SAG-AFTRA and WGA this Saturday.
That's right. Yes, this Saturday.
A 12-hour live stream hosted by our friends Ali and Gus of Wheel Takes podcast, and everyone is going to be doing book-themed segments for each hour on the hour, and have an amazing slate of Wheel of Time content creators ready to entertain you and suck you dry from all of your money so that you can support these unions. So we've got a really fun thing planned for our segment, which is at 8 o'clock Eastern. I'm pretty sure
that sounds right.
On Saturday. And Shelly and Leigh-A and I will be holding down the fort with a very special guest. So please come join us and bring your A game.
Bring your galas.
So if you click the link tonight, maybe just donate a little bit tonight and save the rest for Saturday, because you're going to want to donate Saturday.
As with many of our shows, you're going to get to pay to see us make fools of ourselves.
We're really good at that.
Yes,
we are.
I don't know if you've ever seen us do a fundraiser before, but in general, we are completely ridiculous and terrible at them. In the best way.
I wish I had a clip right now of us eating those disgusting things that we eat. I don't have one to play you all.
I don't know if we can play that, because then Leigh-A pukes, and then people would have like sympathetic puking.
Yeah, it would just be puking by proxy. Yeah, I get that.
Just picture me like bright red and sweating, and you've got the image of what I was like.
Yeah. Yeah. I was way into it, but then the oatmeal.
I agree, Kevin. That was a very natural segue from Mel. Yes,
for sure.
Yes, she is a master,
consummated professional.
That's right. That's right. All right. So let's get into some Daily Veil, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sounds good.
Brothers and sisters,
it is time to cover up your face,
for the Wheel of Time has news, and we shall dance the spears with it.
This is the Daily Veil.
Our adorable little butt plug.
Wait, what?
The Daily Veil thing looks like a butt plug. We call it a butt plug, right?
I've never noticed that before. Have we discussed this?
I feel like we discussed this.
I feel like at least Shelly and I have discussed this, because we've embraced it.
We've embraced the butt plug.
Wow.
Isn't it cute? Isn't it cute?
Yeah.
It's very cute.
It's like a butt and aggressive.
Yeah. It gives you the news right where you need it.
Right. Just. Oh man, I was gonna say the P word, but I stopped myself.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm putting on some music.
Ooh, that's loud.
I know. I don't know how to change the volume before I turn it on. So I'm sorry about that, everyone. There's probably a way to do it, but I don't know that way.
That's fine. We're good at that.
It's better now, yes?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. What shall we start with? Shall we start with interviews?
Sure.
Start with conventions? Shall we start with posters?
Let's talk interviews.
Yeah, let's end with conventions so we can remind everyone, last in your head, go buy your stuff.
Yeah, that's what I feel too. I was thinking we saved the best for last.
Yes.
All right. Interviews. There were some interviews, and we have to definitely thank someone in the fandom, Lioness Wisdom. Thank you so much for compiling all of them into this amazing thread on Twitter here. But yes, they started popping up earlier this week. Several YouTube videos, and then last night on the Dusty Wheel, we learned that the Innkeeper had also gotten a chance to interview some of the cast and watch some of those. So, Mel, Shelly, have you seen any of these?
Nope.
Yep.
I saw only the ones that were played on the Dusty Wheel last night. I have not seen any others. I've been wary of spoilers. I don't want... It's weird because normally I want to know what's going to happen, but I feel like people who interviewed them had these screeners for episodes 1 through 4, I believe. And
Yeah.
I really didn't want to hear any questions about the episodes. But Mel, did you think the ones you watched were there spoilers?
I don't think so. I think everyone did a really good job. Even the interviewers who had watched all the screeners, they only said things like, "You were amazing in it. You did such a great job," things like that. And then the cast really only talked specifically about their emotional state at the beginning of the season, like where you see them when they come in. So if that's something you want to completely avoid, you could avoid spoilers. But like one of the people that I was like most interested in hearing from are the new cast members, like Donal and Kiera. And now I can say her name correctly because that's how Kiera is the way that you say it, not with the soft C, hard C. Anyway, but so it was really interesting to get some insight into how they developed their characters. And Donal specifically talked about how he used the scripts, not the show, not the videos of the show from season 1 as like a way to build the background up for his version of Matt. And then he added on information from the books to help color his interpretation of the character. And so I'm really curious to see how that plays out as he, interprets this character over the next season. Because he's stepping into shoes, and I think they're purposefully keeping him in the costume from last season to like have that through connection. But otherwise, I'm really excited to see what he does. I know you've seen him perform already, Bain&Chiad, so like you're just like, I'm so ready in anything that he does. But I thought it was just like so lovely the way that he spoke about exploring that, and it gave me a real confidence because it's not that I thought that this was going to happen, but it gave me confidence that he wasn't trying to repeat something that what Barney did. He was trying to embrace it and make it his own and take it to the next like logical step for where Matt should be. So yeah, I thought that was really lovely. But I don't think they're particularly spoilery at all. Like I don't feel like I have any greater insights into what's happening. Like I mean the teasers and the trailers were much more spoilery than any of the interviews that we saw.
Okay. Yeah. So he didn't watch any of Barney's performances. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. That's
It's got to be hard to figure out how to, because the character itself is such big shoes to fill.
Right.
And Barney did such a great job that it's like, I have every faith in Donald, but it's like it's the same thing Brandon Sanderson had coming in. Such a great writer, but there's always going to be the comparison of the person who was there first. So
right. But I think Donald had the flexibility to only use the resources that he felt like he needed, which shows that the casting, KV Hendry casting, and Rafe had that much faith in him. That they were like, we want you to embrace this character and make it your own and interpret it for yourself. And I guess the other only like cool highlight that both like again new people coming into the show said is that they talked about how warm and embracing everyone and welcoming everyone was into bringing them onto the set and into their family, because going through season 1, the whole cast and the whole crew like bonded so much because they had all these stops and they had COVID, so they could only be together, so they kind of formed this like tight-knit family. And I can imagine stepping into that as a new person, it would be really hard to integrate yourself with like a group that was already so meshed and so cohesive. But they said that like it was just like the most welcoming and easy ways to transition into the show. So all of that kind of stuff, it's stuff I really liked hearing from the actors, for sure.
It's not fair that her hair looks better than her. Better than my hair.
It does look quite good there, doesn't it? They upped their wig game, didn't they?
I know. There was the thing we were watching last week where it was the Trolloc thing. We were watching the Trolloc thing last week, and they had an interview with her within the Trolloc thing, but it was filmed in 2019 from like season 1, and she looked so fake and plasticky.
Yeah.
And this is so much more like natural, and it feels like there's a life to the hair that they put on her.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Great comments in chat about some of the interviews. Ashikova, thank you. They do seem very emotionally invested, for sure. One thing that really stood out to me last night in the interviews was this. I don't know if y'all saw this.
I did
Look.
see that multiple times.
I feel like I'm being judged.
I don't know if I'm being judged
he's
or
like smoldering
checked
at
out
us.
or seduced or
Yeah.
manipulated.
Yeah.
It's like all of them.
I mean, Shelly, you like missed it. Like, so Rosamund was speaking, but Yosha was just sitting next to her and would just like
Smoldering.
like it wasn't like a constant thing. He would just like look down, and then he would look at the camera and smolder at you, and then look down again. He did it like 3 or 4 times, but every time it was like intense and insane. And I didn't know how to handle myself.
He is like literally glowing. Like, I don't know if he's just got a good tan or maybe a good makeup artist or the lighting is just perfect or if he's just a magical being, but he literally...
Or he's filming season 3 and he's in a particularly sunny place and so he has a fake and bake.
Yeah, maybe, but he just looks so sparkly. Like, how is this a real human being? Like, I don't even understand.
I also hope this is his new hairdo for season 3. I like it.
It's good, isn't it? It's good.
It's good.
Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to take Yosha away, but I guess I should eventually. Bye, Yosha.
Mm.
Hi,
I
Yoshi.
love you, Yosha.
Yeah. But not only that, he's just so like charming and he's like confident, but in not an arrogant way. He's like quietly confident, and the way he talks about reading the books and rereading the books, it's like he's kind of one of us, Jedi in the streets.
Because I remember last season, I remember them like talking about who was furthest in the books, and it was Yosha. Have we gotten like a who's finished the books sort of thing?
Yes.
Yosha's finished and is rereading apparently.
Yes,
but I don't.
That's what he said.
Did Rosamund finish them?
Nobody else commented on how much of the books that they read in the interviews that I've seen in this section. But yeah, Yosha said in multiple interviews that he's read the whole thing and is rereading them.
This is the way. Welcome, Yosha.
Yes, he's one of us for
He's
sure.
totally one of us. All right. Anything else that we wanted to say about the interviews? No.
I mean, I haven't watched them, so I have nothing to add. But...
Will you watch them? After hearing a little bit about them, do you think you'll watch?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I was saying beforehand, I think I get a little burnt out on Wheel of Time stuff, and I just really want to save my enthusiasm for the show itself. And then, I don't know. So we'll see. Maybe. I think I'm just excited about seeing the actual show, and then what will happen is the show will get in my head, and then I'll have to watch all the interviews. That's usually the way I work with TV shows. I get obsessed with the show, and then I watch everything about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. That makes sense.
It's strange. Like up till now, I've always said like I want all of the spoilers, all of the information. I want to consume everything. But for some reason, all of these interviews, I just feel I don't need them. And maybe I would want to wait till after the season. I'm not sure. I'm also
not gonna lie. I'm a little scared about the Shan-Chen this season. They are a group that I do find very stressful to read about.
Yeah.
And, like they have taken that seriously. So I think girding my loins to watch the show. So I think much more time in it before I have to experience it. I think this is a good level for me.
I think you're right to gird your loins because that's kind of a thematic theme that was said multiple times throughout the interviews, that this is more intense and darker, and they go there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to like mentally prepare yourself for some of that for sure.
Yeah, that's a really good point. By the way, if for some reason this is the first time you're hearing about these interviews, I did just want to mention that they were all recorded before the strike. And everyone who did them was just this week given permission to release them. But that's the reason we're looking at them and talking about them, is because they were recorded prior to that. Just in case. I hope you get your news from Threefold Talk. So if you do, like, please leave us a comment because we love you.
Good job.
I get my news from Threefold Talk, so it's great.
What was yeah, you're just like Shelly. That's all.
That's what I was saying before we started. I was like, I love that Daily Mail has become Tell Shelly the News.
It's so perfect. I love it. All right. So we also got some posters. Have you seen these, Shelly?
Nope.
Okay. So this was another wonderful little game that we got to play with the Prime account and the official Wheel of Time account. They started to release some little poems about different characters, and then beneath each poem was some old tongue numbers that corresponded to an episode number and a timestamp. And they wanted us to write down the line that was said at that timestamp in order to release the corresponding poster. So the first one, Shelly, actually was a Lan quote. Can you guess which quote it was?
So it has from season 1?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, I can't imagine, but I'm assuming it's the one when he and Nynaeve were together. That's the one that kind of stuck in my head.
Nope.
You would think. Here's a hint. It comes right after Butt Rock.
And it's on your blanket.
It could be warmer. Yes. That was the quote. So the first poster we got was Moiraine and Lan.
Nice.
Thoughts, Shelly?
I mean,
How's your man?
he's appropriately smoldering. You'll come see. No, it's great. They look good. I love the outfits. I'm excited to see. I mean, obviously, Lan's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about this. And I love when Lan broods. So.
Ooh.
Broody Lan.
It's going to be a broody Lan season, I think.
Yeah, I think there will be some definite brooding.
I think he's going to be real broody. Yeah. People were commenting on their body language here and how it looks like mom and dad are fighting. I would agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
Lumen, speaking of Butt Rock, yeah, sure, let's do it.
Butt Rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, let's see. What's the other posters we got?
Yeah, we have some more. We got 7 in total. 7 in total. Yeah.
Ooh.
Right?
This was kind of a surprise pairing.
Yeah.
Unless you're the brilliant people at Riyadh, who I think all 3 of the hosts, when they did their like predictions, they predicted Min and Matt scenes, like that Min and Matt would get together at like Tarvalon and then travel together. So they're all smarties over there.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I also have that same theory, but I did not talk to Riyadh before I did it.
You tweeted it though, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. You're a smarty too.
I just think the idea of like you know those like buddy cop movies where there's like one like super sarcastic buddy cop and then the other one's like super enthusiastic or something. Like I just feel like those two together should, you know, have a rollicking, riotous journey across the land.
They will have such good banter.
And yeah, it's the banter and it's the ridiculous situations they'll end up in together that I think would be really fun. If there was like a spin-off show of just Min and Matt traveling together, I would watch
Min and Matt's adventures.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Next.
Oh, accepted dresses.
Look at them. So I think these are novice dresses with like traveling cloaks on top of them.
Yes, novice, thank you.
I think that's what they are. Because there's like some image from one of the preview things where Nynaeve has the bands of her sleeve have what did you call it? Embroidery?
Yeah, it looked like tie-dye embroidery.
Yeah, like
but
tie-dye embroidery, like little like flames.
But it was
like,
little flames. It was literally
in a bunch of
little
different
flames.
colors, like on their sleeves instead of their hands. But they look so cute. Look at them.
They look so young and innocent, but trying to be fierce. All right, next. Yeah. Baddies.
That is a costume and a half.
Right? So good. It's so good.
Oh, I can't even. That's enough of that one.
Like,
I know. My feelings for Ishii are like so conflicted and confused.
Yeah, the thing that he's wearing, like the vest overlay bolero whatever thing, is crazy in the back. Do you see those pictures of it in the back? It looks like some sort of, like, those ridges, like, kind of come together in the back and kind of look like, I don't know, they remind me of the ridges of the alien from Alien on the back of his vest thing. They're really weird and like almost inhuman. It's really strange.
Where is this picture of his backside?
I don't know. I don't remember where I saw it, but I
see it for reasons.
Yeah. I'll have to find it. Because it's like, it's not, it's so nicely tailored in the front. And then the back is just like totally foreign and weird and animalistic. Cool. Yeah.
Go ahead, Grace.
I was going to say, if any of you have this picture that Mel is talking about, please send it to us because we need to research it.
Yeah. Well, I think what's interesting about this too is the costume is so elaborate that whoever they cast is going to have to like really be able to have a lot of personality that shows through that. So like I think I mean like the Mandalorian, right? Like it's your costume is so big. How is she going to act over that? I'm excited to kind of see how that happens.
Yeah, I agree. I bet she takes it off at some point. I bet we see her face at some point.
I mean, she's so gorgeous. Like, how could you cast such a gorgeous actor and not show their face?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty. A few more here.
Look at that.
Yeah. Just makes me think of from season 1 when Leandrin's like trying to say her name wrong and trying to like recruit her to the Red Aja, and I didn't think
about
of them.
Chicken.
Yeah, the cold chicken. I didn't think of them as like an ongoing pairing, but you know, after seeing that scene in the trailer of Nynaeve blasting her, like, yeah, I'm for it. Like a little like enemies kind of thing. I could. So Moraine is gone, right? So I could see Leandrin embodying for Nynaeve all the things that she finds wrong with Aes Sedai. So she's like the embodiment of that for season 2, as she's like, as Nynaeve's trying to figure out her place in the world, having this character whose ideals are all misplaced be the thing that she rubs up against to validate some of her misgivings. It makes a lot of sense in this situation where Moraine is no longer part of that. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, Kevin, for sending me this picture. I'm going to upload it. It might take me a bit, but we can look at Ishii's back.
It's his upper back, sorry, not his butt.
Yeah, I'm noticing that now. I'm like,
if I misled you.
A wide angle of the, yeah. Oh well, that's okay.
It's still really weird and creepy. Right? Pretty nuts. They put them together. I feel like
away
it's
from him.
So spoilery.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm curious how people who've never read the books are reacting to this. Like, are they like, who the fuck is that? We don't trust her?
So what did Addison say last night? He called her. He's like, "Who's this new baby mama?" That's what he said.
Oh, I can't wait until he nicknames her. Maybe it will stay baby mama, but yeah.
Yeah, but like I watched a few trailer reactions of like show only watchers and they're just like, "Who the fuck is that?" Is pretty much how everybody has reacted. So that's good stuff.
Yeah. Yes, so Sherbert Mango in chat, the worst innkeeper of all time. That's something we found out, Shelly. I don't know if do you care if we give you a small spoiler?
No, it's fine.
Okay, so one of the press releases described Celine as an innkeeper in Kyrian.
Oh.
So we had a lot of fun with that yesterday, especially considering how much Dusty Wheel Innkeeper loves Landfear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very meta.
Yes,
Very
totally.
meta.
All right, last one. Save the best for last. Our girl.
There she is. There she is.
Yes.
Oh, Perrin, what a good vest game you've got going.
Right?
Mhm. Look at the texture on that. It's so cool.
That is something he says in the interviews about how much he loves his costume for this season.
Good.
And he's got a ring? Like,
Yeah.
is he moving up in the world?
Yeah. Good
I
stuff.
think so. I think they all are.
Man, I'm so excited to see them kick ass. I just cannot handle it. Cannot wait.
And look at her spears.
So good. One of the someone pointed out one of the alt texts called them swords.
It was me.
And we were like,
I
"What's
pointed
that?"
it out.
Oh, did you, Mel? Yeah, good for you.
I called them on it, and then they fixed it. Isn't that good? They much do. They fixed it. Yeah. So the first time they posted it, because the way that they did it, Shelly, is they it was really cool. Each of the like a bunch of different Prime accounts from all over the world were the ones who tweeted out the clues. So it was like literally a great hunt all over the world. So you had to figure out which Prime account was saying stuff. And then the Wheel of Time, when people figured it out, replied with the poster image, and then they reposted them all like as a threat on their account. But
It's nice to see them doing that kind of engagement.
yeah, it's super fun, and I loved how they incorporated everybody's local Prime account. So there was some really good participation there from lots of people, but Mellow Whale, Hillary Ocean Ogier, like ended up solving like half the puzzles instantaneously. Like she was so fast, and she came up with most of the answers. Yeah, she just like jumped
on top
in.
of it. Yeah,
She was rocking it. Yeah.
Great. So if you're in chat, tell us what your favorite poster was and why. And if it's not Perrin and Avienda, then I'm sorry.
Go on a different show. I mean, stay here. It's fine.
I mean, we love you, kind of.
But you know who we love, but we want to transition to YouTube right now?
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. Twitter, we have important information to share with you about MalkierCon. So you better come over to YouTube so we can tell you about it. If not, then follow the MalkierCon account and you'll see what we're talking about. So bye, Twitter.
Bye.
See you later. All right. Last thing before we wrap up Daily Veil, as I mentioned, we have some important news about MalkierCon, which is that it's happening, one, and two, you've only got one more day to get your in-person tickets. So get on that. Por favor.
And
You putting that Spanish language lessons to good work.
What was that, Shelly?
We all need to take a minute to appreciate Tree's art as well.
Oh my gosh.
It looks so good.
He's so talented. I love it.
I would have never thought of the towers looking like that, but now I can't see them any other way.
Yeah, so cool. We need to have her back on the show and we can interview her and ask her about her inspiration and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can't go in person, which, like, I'm sorry, that's what you should be doing. But if you can't, you can also still get a digital pass. So make sure you do that if you can't make it. And also don't forget, one of the many reasons to go to Malkier Con is the special guest, Memo, who's going to be doing a live chibi class, I think. Is it class or a live drawing? I'm not sure. Probably both.
I think it's like a collaborative chibi creation.
Chibi creation experience. Yes.
Yes.
So you don't want to miss that. All right. Anything else for news that we're forgetting?
I don't think so.
Wait, we did. I think there were 3 things, so now I'm forgetting the other one. Interviews, posters. Oh, no, I think we got them all.
Interviews,
We got everything.
Interviews, posters, and cons.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And our fundraiser, but we already mentioned that.
Yeah. But if you got here late, there's a fundraiser on Saturday
Yeah.
That's right.
in support of SAG-AFTRA and the WGA. Come join us. It starts at 9 a.m. Pacific. And we will
Come
be
make us
on
look ridiculous.
at what?
Come make us look ridiculous.
And we will make ourselves look ridiculous at 8 o'clock Eastern for your very much enjoyment and for all of your pocket change.
Alex, you're very brave. And as are you, Kevin.
What is wrong?
And as are you, Wadaholic Aussie. You're very brave people. Yes, that was definitely my we're not mad, just disappointed tone. Thank you, Kev. Yes. I hope it was very scary. All right. Shall we move on to more chill music and more chill things? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We're going to interpret some dreams.
Interpret some dreams, talk about some advice, get a little bit touchy-feely.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I wish you guys were here to like hug.
To actually touch and feel?
Yeah.
How is the music volume?
Good for me.
Huh? Good for
It's
you?
It's good.
Okay, chat, let us know if it's okay for you too. We want to know if it's good for you. Like it's good for us.
You're so giving, Bain&Chiad.
What?
I said you're so giving.
All right. Shall we start with dreams, Shelly? What are you in the mood for, wise one?
Let's start with dreams. Because we
Okay.
have a lot more Ask a Wise Ones questions, so we can kind of
Yeah.
tear those down.
We might not be able to get to all of them tonight,
Yeah.
but we will do our best. But
Yeah.
okay. All right, here we go. Who would like to read this one? It's about fanfic. Mel, you want to read?
Sure.
Okay.
So last night, I had a dream the Women's Circle decided to produce a fan-made Wheel of Time movie. They cast fans from all over the world in different parts, and Wheel Takes Pod Gus was directing and shooting in Texas, but couldn't find the perfect location for one scene. There was a good fit near me, so I called Critter to explain what a bayou was, and then took a long and complicated public bus ride to the set to convince Gus to film back near where I lived. He liked the idea, asked me how I felt about wearing a wig, and then the bus driver fed us messy sandwiches. And I got on the wrong bus, and I was worried I would never get home, but Beth Doman was also on the bus and offered to drop me off.
Aw. That's kind of a
Wow.
fun dream.
Yeah. Also, it was mine.
Awesome. Okay.
Shelly?
So, I think we all love Gus. He's a great person. So I think that dream just kind of shows your esteem for him, that, you know, he got to be the director and producer.
Mhm.
Interesting thing about buses, I always feel in dreams like if there's a mode of transport, it's like maybe that you're going somewhere in life, either metaphorically or physically, or some sort of change is kind of coming.
Mhm.
So, you know, who knows? Maybe that's the case. Same as sandwiches. It's like, what about the messy sandwiches? Is it that you wanted to put into yourself? Is it that you feel like a need to have a little more chaos in your life?
Ooh.
Feel like you're missing something? What else? The wig. The wig is interesting because it's like, do you
Right.
feel like you need to put on a costume for some reason? Do you feel like you need to pretend to be something other than you are? there's somewhere in your life where you feel like you can't be your authentic self or you have to hide something. Hair is often associated with like beauty. Are you like, I'm just so beautiful I have to hide myself from the world? I think that would be a very fair thing for you to feel.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's a couple thoughts in there. Possible journey, respect for Gus and Allie, which we all have. Sandwiches, embracing some messiness. Bayou. I actually don't know what a bayou is.
Oh, I can explain if you want, but that's very nerdy. But we'll let you finish your interpretation first.
Because I'm curious, because if it's a body of water, like, think about all the beautiful things that water signifies, like life, movement and flowing. It sounds like a dream that's like, you got something coming down the pipe, so you've got something big coming.
I wonder if it was like just like I'm super excited about season 2 dream.
Could be.
And I wish I was involved in it dream. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. It was crazy though. It was a crazy dream. It was the sandwiches that like really threw me. I was like, what the fuck are the sandwiches about?
I always love the things in dreams where you're like, oh, this is a dream. Because this is so totally weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you feel when you woke up from the dream?
I think I felt like a little frustrated and stressed out that I because I was worried about getting home. And so even though like Beth came to my rescue, I was still like all stressed out about not having done that.
So maybe you don't know what your final destination is, but you need to rely on your friends a little more.
Yeah, that's lovely.
I like that.
Really
Beth
nice.
Doman is your comforting dream buddy. I love that, Dana Lou. I mean, yeah. I would definitely feel comforted if I saw Beth Doman in a dream.
She's pretty fantastic. Yeah.
All right. Ready for the next one, Shelley?
Yeah.
You know what a bayou is?
I don't. Like I said, water.
It's water.
All right. I feel like I should read this next one for reasons.
Okay.
I had a dream last night that I was being held hostage in a house by a faceless man who had a haircut like Ted Danson, I think. I managed to escape the house while he wasn't looking and ran down the street where there were 2 women sat outside their houses, enjoying the sunshine. Rather than run further away, I was struggling to move properly for some reason. I decided to take shelter, hiding behind a car in one of these women's front gardens. The man started walking away, but then turned around and saw me looking and started approaching menacingly. At this point, I was terrified. As he turned, the man suddenly became Pedro Pascal. I am screaming at the woman in her deck chair to call the police, but she doesn't move, doesn't even acknowledge me. It's like I don't exist. Pedro Pascal walks up and strokes the woman tenderly on the cheek and calls her his sister. I get grabbed by the arm harshly, and I woke up, genuinely unsettled.
It is an unsettling dream.
I'm so sad that she didn't get grabbed by the arm by Pedro Pascal.
It doesn't sound like it was a good grab, though.
No, like what? It's Pedro. No,
or maybe it was the kind of like aggressive grab that you like really wish was.
Yeah, but it didn't. I mean, from this person's description, it didn't sound like in a good way. It sounded like scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think dreams like this are, I think, I don't know if you guys have this, but do you ever have dreams where you're a kid where you couldn't scream or you couldn't walk or you tried to hit someone and your arm was just dead?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think those incapacitating dreams are pretty common where something just doesn't work. And that, so the way I think about it is in your dream, if your legs didn't work, what do your legs symbolize to you? And is that something that you need to focus on? Legs could be your freedom, your movement. Is there something you're feeling restricted in life? You can't punch someone, because this one I have a lot where you can't. I try to punch someone and my arm is just a noodle. And I'm always I think for me, I'm someone who doesn't express anger very well, and so I'm maybe it's just me needing to practice my anger. So maybe your leg's not working. It's just you needing to practice feeling like you have direction and feeling like it's okay to know where you go. I think when guys are in dreams like that, when people, I should say, so like when you have a good experience with someone in a dream, it's like, what about that person are you trying to like bring into yourself? And then if you have a bad experience in a dream, what about that person are you trying to get out of yourself? Or what about are you trying to distance them from? So Pedro Pascal being bad, I don't think he's actually a bad person, but you know, he was aggressive and kind of didn't follow boundaries. So maybe there's someone in your life who's not listening or respecting your boundaries, and maybe you need to draw some boundaries.
I like this interpretation.
Yeah.
Draw some boundaries, express your anger, gather direction.
Yeah.
They're all good lessons.
Yeah.
I hate dreams like that where you can't move or you can't that's always so terrifying. Yeah. It's I think I've always felt like that just means like you're feeling like you don't have control of something in your life, or you're feeling obviously anxiety dream for sure. All right, we ready for the next?
Oh, there's more dreams.
There's one more dream.
Oh,
Yes.
this is exciting.
Mel, you want to take this one?
Sure. I took a nap for an hour, and I had a vivid dream where I was at some kind of business conference, and Kira Coveney was there and was very nice when I said hi to her in the conference lunchroom. Then things got weird when she proceeded to sneeze like 10 times in a row. I said, "Bless you," after every sneeze, which were very dainty sneezes, and then after the last sneeze, she abruptly walked away. In the dream, I wondered if it was because she was annoyed I said "bless you" every time instead of just once or twice. Shortly after, she walked away and I was going to buy my lunch, but I realized that my debit card was not in my wallet, so myself and Rajesh, who was apparently also there, got in a taxi and started to head back to the hotel to get it. A few minutes into the ride, I realized my card was simply in my pants pocket, which was true in real life at the time. My pants pocket had my debit card in it, not my wallet. So we turned back around. I looked around in the lunchroom when we got back to apologize to Kira for my excessive sneezing. Interesting, but she was long gone by then. The last thing is that I remember tweeting about all of this in the dream itself. So yeah, it was a weird one.
Ooh. Nap dreams are always the weirdest, eh? Or like the dreams where you wake up early and you're like, oh, I gotta go back to sleep. And then you have like weird dreams for 2 hours while you're like trying to sleep again.
I don't know. I don't nap.
Those are always the weirdest. Yeah, so it's interesting because apparently sneezes, if you do 7 sneezes or more, apparently there's a old wives' tale that means you're coming into money. I don't know if it applies to dream sneezes, but but I would say like in this case, maybe there's politeness and then there's excessive politeness, and maybe you don't need to be quite as polite as you're being. And this is coming from a Canadian, so
wow,
take that as it is. But like maybe you're giving a little too much of yourself with your politeness and with your care, and so maybe that's you like. You don't have the thing you need when you need it because you've given away all your politeness and all your like kind of care to someone else, and that's why you didn't have your debit card in your wallet. But eventually you find it again.
Nice.
Yeah. And what else was there? Going back to the cafeteria again? Eating.
Yeah, Rajesh going back to the hotel, even though it was in his wallet, and then he had to turn around and go back.
Was with you the whole time.
Yeah.
So that means you got to you had someone to support you. Yeah. So I think maybe that means Rajesh is like a support to you and you're kind of vibing with that person. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad dream, but maybe I think it's just a dream that's saying like, maybe you don't need to give as much of yourself to other people. You can save a little for yourself.
That's lovely.
You're so wise.
So you don't think it has anything to do with maybe particular person, maybe the person who submitted this dream just having like the most giantest crush on Kira Coveney and like feeling super awkward in her presence? You don't think that has any bearing in that dream?
That can have something to do with it, but also it's like when we dream about people, it's always like, what are the qualities about them that you admire? and
Mhm.
your relationship to the person in the dream. So it's like if you have a bad relationship, it's like what are the qualities about them that maybe you don't admire so much that you're like, oh, because if you want to take like real Jungian, everything you see in your dream is actually a reflection of yourself. And so it's like, if you have another person in your dream, what part of you do they reflect? And your relation to that person shows that relationship to those aspects of yourself. You want to get real Jungian about it and scientific.
Nice. Love
That's
it.
so cool.
I don't even know what Jungian means.
He's like a Freud contemporary.
Carl Jung, yeah.
Oh,
He believes
okay.
there are like universal symbols and stuff too, which I find really fascinating.
Like omens?
Not exactly, no.
But like a bird means the same thing kind of to everyone who dreams about a bird.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
I haven't really been remembering my dreams lately, and I want to because I want you to interpret them, Shelly, but I just don't have any right now.
You can have private dream interpretations.
Okay. All right. So that was our lovely dream walking segment. And if you are watching us later on and you liked that, please, at any time, not even just when we're having this segment, you can send us your dreams. We will hold on to them for the next time we do have this segment. So please do send your dreams our way for Shelly to interpret.
Well, and I saw Alt Text Alex posted one where he says, I have a lot of dreams where people don't notice me no matter how hard I try to get to their attention.
Yes.
Similar to what I already said, right? Like you're finding your voice and you need to express yourself and be heard. So is there somewhere in your life where you feel like you're not being heard? Is there a place there where you need to speak up more?
Yeah. Dreams tell you stuff. Dreams are like your way of processing through things, while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
The brain is so fascinating.
It is. And I mean, sometimes you just dream about like a dinosaur making lunch in your kitchen.
And that's all it is. Just random, neurological firings.
Yeah, or a T-Rex trying to make lunch.
I would be totally down with a dinosaur doing that in my kitchen. Because I think dinosaurs are awesome.
They are pretty cool.
All right. Shall we ask your advice now, Shelly? I feel like you're working overtime tonight.
That's okay.
Okay. So we have 6 Ask a Wise Ones. We have a few mostly serious ones and then one maybe a little bit lighter. One's about work, one's about double standards, one's about littering, one's about a baby shower, one's about credentials, and one's about crows. What do you want to start with?
Ooh. Let's start with credentials.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'll read this one. I work in a research-heavy field and don't have a graduate degree. My team wants me to list myself as a lead on a grant application, but I'm worried my lack of credentials will negatively impact our chances. I am more interested in funding than titles, but my team feels really strongly about crediting me on paper. What do I do?
So, I would say to the person, how does a wise one know they're a wise one? At some point, you just have to decide you're a wise one. The credentials don't actually matter that much. So if it's a co-authored paper, there's going to be lots of credentials on there already, I think. And so I don't see a funding application taking away because there's one person without some letters behind their name. And I would also say, you want your name on those for yourself, because if you ever have another job, you want to be able to say, these are the grants that I helped win. And there's a trail of evidence for that. So my gut says it's pretty much put your name on there. If you're worried, there's always the order. I remember when I was in grad school, the order of operations, who got to put their name where, could always be kind of political. So you could always just put, if someone's got the really fancy letters behind their name, you could always put those first and then you second and third. But I don't think having names on a grant and having evaluated grants, I can say that me personally don't really always look at the titles, but I am somewhat of an anarchist, so I might be the wrong person. I always say, I go back to the wise one. How does a wise one know she's a wise one and gets to call herself a wise one? She knows.
That makes a lot of sense.
Bain&Chiad, any advice? Pat, any advice?
Yes, Patrick Lightbody has a comment. Put your name on it. The others have titles, so they have cred, and you'll advance your career. Okay, thank you.
I like that, Patrick.
I don't think I have anything to add, Shelly. I think you gave some really good advice, and I feel like I don't know if I'm the best person to give advice on this because I think I'm very easily swayed by other people's opinions. But if I had a group of people that was like encouraging me to be credited despite my lack of credentials, I would listen to them because I don't know. I would trust them, which is weird because I don't trust many people. But I feel like in a work setting, like environment where people were helping with this grant writing, I would do what other people were encouraging me to do, if it was like a positive thing.
Yeah.
All right. Next, I miss Leigh-A, by the way. I feel like Leigh-A always has great stuff to add to these as well.
She does.
It's definitely not the same without her.
We definitely want to hear what Pat thinks too.
Yes.
Pat is here tonight.
Oh, Dana Lou has a comment. If people with credentials follow someone without credentials, that shows faith in the person without the credentials. Yeah. This must be a very special person, in my opinion. Amis says it's most important how you write the grant request.
This is true.
I've never written a grant request before, so I don't know. Have you, Shelly?
Yep, several.
Yeah.
I mean, the how is really important. And I know academia can be a little weird sometimes with, credentialism and whatever, but it depends on who the funder is too. But I'm also inclined to kind of push back on elitism wherever it appears. So
Yeah.
pave the way for other non-credentialed people. So if you think about it too, in the research world now, a lot of what we talk about is lived experience. And a lot of people with lived experience don't have credentials, but have as much to add to research as people who have the opposite. But I think it's also important to kind of remember that, depending on what field you're in.
Mm. Okay. Are we ready for the next question?
What?
Okay. Let's go with, what do you want? Work, double standards, littering, baby shower, crows.
Let's go with
So random.
work.
Work has kind of gotten me in a funk recently. My direct management is awesome, but the administrators are crushing my soul. How do I separate my feelings for the two? And how do I separate my personal life, which is now funkalicious because of work, and my douchebag administration team? I love the writing in this one.
How do I separate my feelings? I'm not going to lie. This is the thing I've always struggled with. There is a saying that people leave bad bosses and bad workplaces, but not necessarily bad jobs. So this is something I really struggle with. I mean, I think mindfulness might be a helpful practice here to really sit down and kind of like acknowledge be specific about what's frustrating you and that it's the administration and how often do you deal with administration and kind of put it in its little box might be helpful. And the other thing that might be helpful is talking to your manager if you have a good relationship about where the administration is specifically falling down. I also know that there's a person at my work who I call my walking opportunity to practice mindfulness. And so I just try to make sure that I have a chunk of the day when I have to deal with that person. And then I have a break after and a quiet time before, because they are really a challenge to deal with. And so when I have to deal with them, I always make sure I have a decompression time after, because they are their brain works very differently than mine. They do contribute positively to the team, but their brain is just so different than mine that we can't stop butting heads.
how do you decompress after that?
I go by myself. Like I literally just go for a walk, get out, like just like not deal with people because they suck so much of my energy, and I'm an extrovert that I'm like I need to just not have any demands on me for a little bit. And sometimes I just need to go and vent and just be like, fuck this person. Can you believe what they said? Sometimes I just need to like write a big long WhatsApp to my sisters and be like, you will not believe what this person just said. And usually they're like, oh wow. So that would kind of be my advice, is like, you know, try and practice mindfulness and recognize that this is just one part of your job and be really aware of your reactions to it, and like maybe try and put some boxes around when you have to deal with them. And if it is really bad, talk to your manager. I'm not necessarily sure they can do anything, but it's always good to have that conversation. Bain&Chiad, Mel, what do you think?
Yeah,
Chiad,
I have where I work, there's 2 co-owners, and I report directly to one of the co-owners, and the other co-owner is in charge of it, like a different part of the company. But we have to interact a lot, and we butt heads a lot, and he frustrates me because he's very dismissive of other people, and it drives me crazy because and I don't even think that he consciously does it, but he belittles people, especially people that we have on our team who might be like younger and new in their career and just starting off. So there's a lot of that. I have to recognize that this one person is a person at my job who drives me crazy, but the rest of my job I really enjoy and I find very fulfilling. And so yeah, I definitely find myself doing a rant session afterwards just to like get it off my chest so that I can like go back to work and be able to like do the rest of what I do, which is really enjoyable. But at least in my position, and maybe this is an option for you, is that I was able to like say to the other person, to the other coworker, like, I find it really difficult to work with him. Could I work with that person less? You know, do I need to be in all of the meetings that they're in? Because I don't think when I'm in those meetings with him that I'm particularly productive or helpful. So you know, I have less and less of those, which is one of the ways I've been able to like do that with the support of someone who trusts my work without being involved with that person directly. So if that's an option for you, great. But yeah, I think compartmentalizing that particular part of it and then being able to just like blow off steam about that particular annoying thing and getting back to the thing that you like about what you do is definitely the way to handle that.
Yeah. We have a question for you in chat, Mel. Have you considered stabbing him with a spear?
So many times. So many times. So many times. Yeah. And I have verbally stabbed him. Enough times that in a normal place I probably should have gotten fired. But in a like there's definitely an understanding that, and I mean, I'm not the only one he frustrates, but yeah, it's an exercise in understanding that there is a lot of different ways that people think and a lot of different ways that people communicate, and not everyone is going to be a perfectly effective communicator all the time, and some of them are going to be never a perfectly effective communicator. And as long as it's almost like you have to manage your own expectations, right? Like instead of what in some circles refer to as being in the box, like walking into it expecting that he's going to piss you off, instead walk into it understanding that you have a friction with them, but it's okay, and they do provide a worthwhile contribution to the place that you work in just a different way than you would express that. And it's okay to like step back and let others who are better able to handle that communication do it, if you have that option.
Yeah.
Though I know not everybody has that luxury, that's for sure.
Yeah.
My walking opportunity for mindfulness this week was giving a presentation, and it was a very good presentation. And then on the last slide, I'd made a numbered list. Just before the presentation, I deleted number 2, and I forgot to update so that my number said 1 and 3. And she felt the need to point that out in front of my entire team and senior management and go, I'm laughing, like, and she's laughing, being like, ha ha, I just need you to know you got 1 and 3 on your last slide. And I deadpan in front of everyone said, that is definitely a comment that needed to be made publicly.
Wow. I love you.
Yeah.
Just shut up after that.
I mean, it's a similar kind of personality with the person that I butt heads with, in that they fixate on very minor details at the expense of the larger information that's trying to be communicated. And they'll fixate so much on the minor details that we never get to the conversation about the bigger picture. And I have definitely at some point being like, it doesn't matter what words are being said. We all know what they meant. So yes, we've had that conversation.
Yeah, it's true. I don't feel I have much to add in terms of the workplace conflict piece, but something I've said before in other places about dealing with work stress in general and work-life balance. It's so important to have parts of your identity outside of work that you build up, so that work doesn't become everything to you. And if you can build up your outside of work identity so that it's bigger and better and more satisfying than work, then the stuff that happens at work won't matter so much. So that would be my advice. Like find other things. And I know it's hard when you're stressed about work. That's like probably when you need those outside things the most, but it's hard to do them and to push yourself to do them when you're feeling so stressed. But if you can do them and feel rewarded by them, then you won't, work won't matter as much.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I do find that we at least Americans, I don't know. Shelly's much better about being like, I'm going to go on vacation for 6 weeks. But we do, Americans in general, put so much of ourselves into work and identify ourselves so much by our work. And we could do better at remembering that that's not all that we are. And we have so much more than that.
So much more than that, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely turn off a lot. When I leave work no longer exists.
You have to. Noman Garden, I love this. Next presentation, number everything 1, 2, C, star. Trolling is also a good strategy.
That's awesome.
If you can do it and still keep your job, troll away. All right, Shelly, what are you in the mood for next?
Okay, so I want to get to the banana question. And let me
oh, yes.
Let me give some context for this. So I not only love giving advice, I love reading advice columns. So Dear Prudence on Slate, The Ethicist in the New York Times. I love reading advice columns. And this question just threw me for a loop. And it's so simple. And the comments on the New York Times column and the ethicist response were great. So I really want to hear from the Foldies, their response to this. Because I've been so curious hearing what different people think of this situation.
Ask a Foldy one.
Yeah.
Ask a wise Foldy.
I'll give you what I think. I also really want to hear what the Foldies and what you guys think, because this thing just is living rent free in my head.
Ooh, maybe we should read it and then give the Foldies a chance to respond before we hear your response, so that you don't unfairly influence them with your wisdom.
I like it.
Good point. Yes.
Okay, Foldies, get ready. This one's for you.
Okay. Shelly, do you want to read this one?
Sure. What some may view as a minor event became a real fault line in our marriage. While we were driving recently on the Massachusetts Turnpike and going highway speed in the middle lane, my husband opened the passenger side window and tossed a banana peel into the road. I immediately expressed my disgust. telling him that I'm opposed to littering and it's a bad example for the 13-year-old we had in the car, and that I, as the driver, would be the one to receive the ticket. What if everyone started tossing leftover produce on the highway? It's slippery, dangerous, and just dirty. My husband's response was that the banana peel would biodegrade, and he said, I'm an adult, so I'll do as I want. I responded that the banana peel wouldn't biodegrade on asphalt. When we arrived home, I sent him an article outlining why this is dangerous and unacceptable behavior. It could lure animals onto the road, putting them in danger, and it's considered littering and carries a fine. I also sent him the Massachusetts law stating this was illegal. His only comment was, don't you have anything better to do with your time? He refuses to acknowledge that he made a mistake or change his behavior. We've reached a deadlock on the issue.
Huh. Wow. Okay, so while we're waiting for the folder responses, what things would you think would be acceptable to allow to biodegrade on the pavement?
This is a tricky one, because on pavement I agree, and the animals I agree. But I love those little Christmas oranges, and I bring them hiking a lot. And, for some reason my brain feels no problem, like sometimes just burying like the Christmas orange peel in the bush. Maybe I shouldn't do that.
So yeah, I'm definitely a big proponent of leave no trace, like even more so in like nature areas than I would be on like human developed areas. So I would definitely pack out an orange peel or anything like organic, because I wouldn't want to be introducing things into that environment that weren't naturally there. But like, yeah, what would I leave on the pavement?
Yeah, like I wouldn't leave anything on the pavement. And in general, I pack out my food sometimes. But yeah, it's funny because it's such a small thing that escalated so much.
Yeah,
I think we've all had that in relationships where there's this one tiny thing, and then it just like blows out of proportion. Then all of a sudden, you're like.
The thing is that where I live, like you leave something on the pavement gets to like 120 degrees Fahrenheit, or I don't know, math, some sort of Celsius degree amount. That's less than that. Like it's gonna cook real fast. It's gonna like turn to like unedible nothing really quickly. So.
I'm looking up Fahrenheit.
Yeah, I forget the conversion. I mean, I can convert it at specific areas of the Celsius to Fahrenheit scale, but not all of them. Like really low and really high, but not in the middle.
54 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, I was gonna say 50, so I was close. All right.
I do want to hear Amis Farstriders. I like Lumen. So Lumen's taking a hard stance. Totally irresponsible and dismissive of the husband is a real big flag.
Yeah. That's the part that I don't like. Like, it's like, okay, you have a disagreement on this thing, which like is understandable, and you're going to have disagreements on things. And it's a big deal because it has to do with values. But like the way that he responded to her concerns and like didn't like, it doesn't matter what you're arguing about. You still need to like listen and try to understand the other person's perspective, and the fact
but we're also getting the perspective of someone who's very emphatic about their beliefs. So
true. We don't know. We're not hearing both sides.
We might be getting the reaction that he gave like 10 times later when she was still expressing the same thing.
That's true. We don't know.
So we've seen some interesting stuff in the chat. So Patrick Lightbody said the biodegradable thing makes it less awful, but still not cool. Not a fireable offense, but definitely a strike. Deeply Moon says, I'm very much against littering. No problem with the banana peel. Iris Bear says, how did he not know this would be a problem for her? Do they talk to each other?
Good comment.
And Eamon Zaire says, his answer is so crass towards his wife, and he's a jerk. Sherbert Mango says, I feel like this is not the only issue communicating that they might have.
Kev said this writer should go to jail. She clearly married a child. And that, I think earlier he said the next step was divorce.
I feel like he should be giving advice on the "Am I the asshole?" thread
We need more
on Reddit.
context. I mean,
I know,
that's the problem with all advice requests, right? We don't have the whole story, you know?
Right.
It's so hard.
It's interesting. At least I really enjoy reading "Am I the asshole?" things because often the writers tell on themselves further down when they're like answering clarification questions, so you do get a little bit closer to the full story than you do in like a pre-prepared statement with no other context that somebody has to respond to.
Yeah. For me, what's interesting, Dalu, is the husband feeling like that in general, was this the straw that broke his back?
Yeah.
Mm.
And
Good
Iris's comment, wonder how many legal statuses she's looked up before. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Like, most fights are not about that fight. They're about like a million things like leading up to that fight that you just, you know.
Yeah, and one of the things the ethicist says in his response that I really resonated with is by the time you're sending articles to your partner, the fight is no longer about the thing. The fight is about being right. And it's like, once you hit that point, and that to me is a huge trigger. Like if I'm in a relationship and someone sends me an article, it's like you no longer actually care about communication in the relationship. It's now where you're like,
read this article.
Yeah, I
send articles to real life Matt Carlton all the time. I'm just like, this is really cool. You should read this.
Well,
and then he never reads
though.
them.
But like, say, like, I'll give you a personal example. My ex and I during COVID, when the masking stuff first came out, you know, there was a lot of confusion about when you needed to mask and when you don't, and those sorts of things. And he was like, mask everywhere all the time. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to follow the law. Because I don't have a better thing. And I really don't like masks because of like my ADHD and like all these things. And I was like, I'll absolutely wear them where it's required. And he would be sending me articles. And I would be like, stop sending me fucking articles. Like, they're like, and then I would dig in. Like, they just, as soon as you're sending your spouse articles to prove you're right, the fight is no longer about that topic. Like, the fight is now about power. So that was always the interesting thing to me. Because the science almost doesn't matter in that, whether or not a banana peel would biodegrade.
Right.
There's so many other things going on.
So much. We need to pause for a moment and just say hi to Beth. Hi, Beth.
Hi, Beth.
Hey, Beth.
We love you. You needed to see us. Ha 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 ha. That's very good. Nice.
We were trading knee puns with Beth earlier today.
So cute.
And
Amis went on a rant. Let's hear it.
I want to hear everything Amis has to say.
So she says, okay, this is multifaceted. Littering in general, showing on example to not only the child in the car, but others in the car behind them. Littering law, complete disrespect of the husband to hear the wife, inability to back down after knowing he did wrong. 6, yes, history of communication between the two. All those things.
Communication breakdown,
That's why she's a wise one, too.
She is a wise one.
She's a wise one. She's a very wise one. So yeah. In the comments after, tell us what you think about this, because this situation just sat in my head for so long, me thinking about like all the different facets of it. So thank you very much, Foldies, for helping add to it.
Yeah, I like Foldy advice. We should do Ask Wise Foldy more often.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Maybe we should be brave enough to bring some of our non-anonymous comments to the Ask a Foldy section. I think it's at least on this point. I think they're both in the wrong. That's what I would say. Like they both dug in, and they and maybe at least from the husband's side, like he was embarrassed in front of the child, right? Yeah, and so he reacted poorly and like kind of exacerbated that. Even if he like knew that it was an important thing to his wife, maybe what he's not expressing is that she embarrassed him. and she could have dealt with it differently.
Yeah, maybe it should have been a conversation in private later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So much
But by drawing attention to the fact that he's setting a poor example,
right.
when maybe otherwise he's like a great dad. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Unnecessarily like twisting the knife.
Yeah. And phrasing of things like that is so important too. Because like
Absolutely.
she's got various concerns, and it's like, I know in relationships you're often supposed to use the when I feel X, situation Y, or sorry, when you do X in situation Y, I feel Z.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard in this situation to say that, because some of it, the littering, is not actually about her feelings, but you know, the risk to her as a driver is. So,
yeah, but I don't know. I mean, at least for me, I take littering very seriously. I was brought up in like as a tree hugger in the Pacific Northwest, and like keep Texas beautiful, and all of those things like are kind of like embedded in my psyche. That it's like
me too.
That it's like a violation of your responsibility as a person of the earth.
Yeah.
When you do that. So it like it almost speaks to like the same thing as like not returning your grocery cart to the grocery cart thing. It's just like a disrespect for your fellow man is what it expresses.
Just one Kev's heart with that example. As one of his biggest pet peeves. I
will return other people's carts. I won't get mad about seeing a random cart, but if I see someone abandon a cart, then I will get frustrated. But I will like put a random cart back with my cart into the cart thing.
Yeah. I have like a visceral reaction to littering too. Like it feels like harming the earth, and that really bothers me.
Yeah. I think my problem is my statistics brain. I think littering is gross and you shouldn't do it. But my brain always goes to like, if you're littering from an SUV, it's a bigger problem than the litter. Like there's these systemic issues in the environment, and we focus on litter when the reality,
because we can see it.
Yeah, we just shouldn't be making bottled water. We should just be making clean drinking water. And so my brain sometimes is like, litter becomes a red herring to what the actual issues are.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
That's a really good point.
That's where my brain sometimes go.
Yeah.
I should introduce you to the Texas trash database.
Yeah, and like trash in water and in the ecosystem is actually really bad. Like I get that, but it's like one of those things where it's like the fossil fuels we dig up to support the infrastructure in society that relies on personal transport, way worse.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's why my brain doesn't always react to the litter as badly.
Yeah. I guess it's not about, for me, I guess it's not about the thing that is being littered so much as the disrespect for the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, it's such an interesting little question.
Yeah, it is.
Good job. Thank you for pulling that out.
Yeah, that's a really cool one.
And you should read The Ethicist in the New York Times. Your library may have a free pass for you to read it. So you don't need a subscription.
I love when Shelly brings up libraries.
I love your library love, Shelly. It's amazing.
I work with librarians as like a community outreach thing in the work that I do, and they are just some of the like coolest, most like diversity of thought people in some ways, but in some ways they're like so particularly rigid, and they're just fascinating people to me, and yet the way that they get back to the community is always inspiring, and they have like endless energy for it. So
yeah,
I have a lot of love for libraries. I grew up in libraries.
Yeah, same. And actually I just last week, because I'm a plant nerd, I started doing moss pools. I looked up how to 3D print at my public library, and there's like what is it? There's patterns, I don't know what they're called, for moss poles that I can download and then print at the library. And I was like, the librarian would walk me through how to do that. So I was like, this is super cool. So I watched the 1 hour tutorial on how to use the 3D printer at the library, and I'm thinking of like trying to book it.
Oh my God, you've just made my whole fucking life.
So I was like, I want to print a moss pole for one of my plants so they can grow up tall.
Can you stop being so cute?
Shelly, I spend like every time I have a visitor, I tell them about how they can learn how to 3D print at their library. Like,
It's so good.
yeah,
And like I looked up where all the free things are that you can print online. There's so much cool stuff.
so much. There's so much.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we should have a 3D printing deep dive fun day.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be
Because we
yeah.
do have a lot of 3D printers in the
Yeah.
Wheel of Time community who are printing like cool 3D stuff.
Oh my God. Yes, that would be a great show idea. Have a few of the 3D printers on and chat about it. And
Nerds.
Mel can share her expertise and all that
I love
good
it.
stuff. Yeah, love that.
Love it. It'd be super fun. Cool. Good idea. Good idea. Put it in the archive. Hey, this one got recorded. So
Right.
we don't have to try and remember it later.
Yeah.
Awesome. We usually have these like great idea sessions like after we've had a show, but that session's
And
not
then we never
recorded,
write
and then
it
we
down.
immediately forget everything
Yeah.
that we came up
We
with.
do have a doc, but I feel like I have not updated or looked at that doc in a very, very long time.
Yeah, you're kind of
kinda
our
scared.
unofficial official secretary. and
I
the rest of us have failed it.
I was entering shows like weekly, but it's been a while, I think. Oops.
Yeah.
I'm kind of scared to look and see.
Lots of libraries have 3D printers, Iris Bear. It's a huge part of the library community. Huge.
That's so neat.
I do all my printing at the library instead of at Staples. I don't know if you guys have Staples in the States. It's like a business chain.
Yes, we do have
Yes.
Staples. Yes.
We have
So
that.
basically, like I print at the library because it's 4 cents cheaper a page than it is at Staples, and I can do most of the things there. So.
This is smart.
Anyways, we have tangented all over the place.
We have, and it is about that time. Do we want to do more questions, or do we want to call it there?
Maybe we should do the Raven and end on that. Or
The crows. The crows. Yeah, I think that would be a good one, and that's one that I kind of want to hear from chat about as well.
All right, chat.
Wetlander's here. Hello, Wetlander.
That was me. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, I fell for it. I
I
should have known.
texted. I used the wrong window. My bad. I was just super excited about what Alex said.
That's amazing.
What if I told you could 3D print from trash? Says my husband, who knows what I do for real life.
All right, here we go. Lately, I've been seeing crows everywhere I go. What does it mean?
Dun, dun, dun.
What did they mean in Wheel of Time? I feel like they have. Well, it's ravens that the
Which are two distinctly different
They are
animals.
different.
Crows are not the same as ravens.
they are different. Yeah.
I've been seeing crows everywhere. What does that mean? There's a lot of crows in your neighborhood.
We have worn
So
out the
wise.
wise one. We've come to the
She's
end
tired.
of the wise one's capacity for wiseness.
I don't want to say I'm an expert, but I do know a thing or two about birds. And when you see a lot of birds, there are a lot of birds around.
Seeing a few comments about dark friends in chat.
I mean, I feel like my superstitious grandmother, like the one who planted holly in front of her front door to keep the fairy folk out. I feel like she had a thing about crows and death. Like seeing crows means a death is coming down.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that too.
So, like, she was so superstitious. Like, she had that thing, you never bring an old broom into a new house. Like, whenever we moved, she would, like, sneakily throw out my mom's broom. Like, she was very, very superstitious about some things. So,
Do you think that potentially, because you're a Wheel of Time fan and crows have the connotation they have in the Wheel of Time, that the crows could potentially, I would assume that the crows could potentially take on more meaning because of their relation to the book in your real life? I don't know if I phrased that right.
I don't know.
I think for me in general, I always look at things like that, like things that I see or symbols, or like if I see a pattern. Like there was a time at work, I work in a very it's like right next to a golf course, and there's like a lot of trees, and it's like a very beautiful area, and there's a lot of wildlife. And like there were like 3 days in a row that I saw a bald eagle, and I was like, whoa, I saw a bald eagle like 3 days in a row. That's crazy.
Wow.
So I tend to I think that way anyway. But yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, maybe part of it is Wheel of Time fandom.
But I think also crows, like, they are in the public psyche, right? Like,
Yeah.
like in horror movies, like a cawing crow in an empty cornfield is pretty, you know, something bad. Shit's gonna go down.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
They have entered the psyche as like some sort of
Omen of.
what I look for, omen archetype,
Yeah.
stuff bad that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
Some people in chat are saying crows are very intelligent and problem solvers. Light blinded fool. Thank you. Yes. A bird circling 3 times above someone's head. Tuan sees this and interprets it as an omen to stay close to Matt. Okay.
interesting.
Interesting.
Where are the crows being seen? These are the questions I want to know.
But I think once you start seeing something and you clock it that you're seeing them more often, you also then start noticing it more often too,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That is, as I've become more of a birder, like I notice birds more. Same as like as I've gotten into plants, like I just notice. I walk by stores and I'm like, ooh, they got a string of turtles. Like
Sewell and I are
Yeah.
simpatico
Great.
today.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah. Like I it's almost like a form of deja vu, you know,
Yeah.
that you're like piling on to your cognition of the thing that you otherwise maybe would not have paid attention to. But because you're paying attention to the fact that you've noticed them more, therefore you notice them more.
Yeah.
But you know what the nice thing is about this, and I'll like quote my therapist here.
I love when you quote your therapist.
She's a brilliant woman. I love her so much. Whimsy is something that you can use to serve you. And so I think the lovely thing is, like, if you want to walk through and see omens and crows, go ahead and see omens and crows. Like, have fun and add some whimsy and some magic. Like, we read fantasy because we like want to get into these worlds where circling crows mean something, and there might be dragons, and who knows, maybe one day I'll snap my fingers and mindfulness lady at work will spontaneously combust. Like, you know, we want worlds like that. That's kind of how I feel about astrology. I don't believe in it, but I have a lot of fun with it. And so it's like one of those things where it's like you can let yourself have the whimsy. Be like, yeah, I'm seeing crows everywhere. I wonder what that means. And then like when something cool happens, like you find $20, be like, thanks, crows.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of like letting whimsy into your life, because we're so serious all the time, and like the world is such a like rough place that sometimes it's kind of fun just to be like, oh, you know, Anna the Queen has a brilliant saying where she says, I don't believe in ghosts, but I believe cats see ghosts.
Wow. Yes.
Love it.
Like, I also don't believe in ghosts, but I 100% believe that Newt sees ghosts.
So what is your most whimsical interpretation of seeing crows? Never.
Are you asking the person who saw the crows or me?
I mean, I'm saying anyone. I would say perhaps crows are like tiny transportation devices for your dreams. And so the more crows you see, the more your dreams will be able to come to life, because the crows are bringing your dream in mass to fulfillment.
I'm like a secret fan of the macabre, so I kind of like the idea that seeing crows is like, now you've got a death omen. You can like predict a death is coming. I find that very like creepy, whimsical, and I like it.
Okay.
Okay.
So, who do you want to die?
Do you get to choose the death, or is it just a predictor?
Well, if you're predicting death, you
Yeah.
have to be specific about it. Don't just leave a prediction of death like out in the open for anyone to snatch
I
up and assign someone to.
I haven't been seeing crows. I've been seeing a lot of orioles lately. And we are getting into migration season, so I'm expecting to see a lot more ducks, which are death machines. So
I have no idea what an oriole is.
Oh, they're really cool, like black and
Bird.
white birds.
Huh.
Yeah.
I just realized I know that's a team mascot, and I never really thought of what that mascot actually was. Weird.
Yeah. Anyways, it leads me down this whole great story where it's like Cassandra in Le Troyen, like the woman,
Yeah.
the seer who's always right, but no one ever believes.
Yep.
Or you could be really general about it, just point at someone and be like, "You're going to die someday."
What do you think, Bain&Chiad? What's your crazy crow theory?
I love Kevin's acronym: creativity, resilience, optimism, whimsy, and success. I love
Aw.
that. I think, my whimsical interpretation of crows. I think, I don't know, this might be a cop-out, but I feel like they symbolize death, but death doesn't always mean death. Death could mean like transition or change. And if they're intelligent, then perhaps it means a change that is for the best, even if it may seem like a bad change at first. That is my whimsical interpretation.
So it's the tarot interpretation. I like it.
The what? The tarot?
Tarot. Because like in tarot, death is not death. Death is change.
Yes. That's what how I usually think of it. Yeah.
You know what we should do sometime? Since we're recording our ideas.
Tarot card?
There is. I wonder if we could get her. There's a woman in Toronto, there's a person in Toronto, and they are like the coolest tarot reader I've ever met. Like they're super queer, they're like super positive, and they do tarot readings where you just leave them just feeling amazing about yourself.
Ooh.
What?
Yeah.
That's cool. That would be fun.
It would be pretty fun to have like a super positive tarot reader on. And their deck is like a reinterpretation of the tarot deck, which is body positive.
Nice.
So it's hard to explain, but it's really, really neat.
Awesome.
Do you think they would want to hang out with some Wheel of Time nerds?
Maybe. They always ask for payment for their tarot, which I think is entirely fair.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. We could circle up some cash for something like that. That'd be kind of fun.
I think it'd be fun.
I like it.
Yeah.
Get our tarot read and maybe get some general advice for the foldies.
Man, sounds like an amazing day. Good thing we thought of that and recorded that.
I know. We'll definitely think about it again.
Yup.
All right. Is there anything else we want to say before we wrap up tonight?
Thank you, foldies.
Yes,
Yes.
there is.
Okay.
So coming up soon, I don't know if you all know, is season 2 of The Wheel of Time.
what?
And it starts on Thursday, probably.
Right.
Oh,
September-
Yes. This is important.
Yes.
August 30th / September 1st. So we collectively have decided that we are going to be moving Threefold Talk, like we did during season 1, to Tuesdays during the run of the show.
Yes.
And on Thursdays, Rob will be having a post release chat with a bunch of different people, and he's looking for people to like be his guests. So feel free to let him know if you'd love to come on the show and like be like a first conversation about the new episodes. But for starting, is it next week? No.
Next Thursday is our last Thursday night show.
Yes. So
Until
next
the
Thursday
end
will
of
be
season 2.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Next Thursday will be our last Thursday night till the end of season 2, which will be relatively short, unfortunately, because the seasons are short. But we're just making that move to allow space for people to geek out about on the night of which we assume is the same release time as the season 1 about the show. And we will do our regular show on Tuesdays.
And you should all eat tacos. We should have Taco Tuesday.
Taco threefold Tuesday. Tuesday taco threefold.
Do you like tacos, Bain&Chiad?
I do like tacos. They make me laugh, apparently. If you ever want me to break while reading something, please include a taco.
Yes. So I guess in honor of our move to Tuesdays, we will be hosting a taco writing competition. Where in the one who makes Bain&Chiad laugh the most gets their taco fanfic read on our first show.
Oh God, please someone write a fanfic with tacos.
A taco fanfic.
Yep.
You heard it here first. And we definitely will remember this.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, I've already forgotten the other 2 ideas we had.
See, that's kind of what the Foldies are for, to like remind us. Listen, you guys came up with these 3 ideas today, and we know there were 3, so that's pretty good. And you should do those things. Much like Kevin. I mean, there's like all sorts of things that we're like, we should do those things. And we have not acted on them.
This is why Silvertooth is our cheese Foldy, because he reminded me that what goes with tacos is margs. I'm gonna have to have a marg every Tuesday night now.
That's perfect. You know what?
Yes.
I'm just gonna have to come to Boston and have a marg made for me.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Actually, I'm in Saskatchewan. For the first show. The second episode. So.
Are you gonna be in that little cabin that you were in before?
No, I have a friend on a farm, and I haven't seen her since before COVID, so I'm gonna go feed some chickens.
Nice.
And
sounds really fun.
Yeah, I'll work remotely while I'm there, but I'm gonna go feed some chickens and stand in some empty fields and not go anywhere near her bees.
I love this. I have. What was that?
She has guinea fowl. So
take lots of pictures.
Okay, I will.
I want to see you cuddling with birds.
I mean, I don't know if chickens are that much into cuddling, but I will do my best.
They will with you.
At least get like a selfie with one in the background or something.
I'll try.
Before we go, I have discovered this second image of Yosha that I think we just need to look at before we go.
Okay.
Why?
A lip bite.
A lip bite.
Oh. All right. I see what you're doing there, Yosha.
Like, why do you do this to us, man? Like,
jeez. Wow.
The Dragon Reborn, everybody.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right. Good. All right. Good closer. Good closer.
Good closer. Yeah. Now that we got out of that, no words left. I cannot speak. Yosha.
All right. Well, I can do our traditional sign-up.
Please do, Shelly.
Thank you so much for being wonderful in the chat tonight. We love you. We love your thoughts. Definitely Ask a Foldy is coming back because the discussion around the banana thing was great. Be sure to tune in on Saturday for the fundraiser. Buy your Malkier Con tickets. Like, subscribe, please comment in the chat below. That is one of the most helpful things you can do. And may you always find love, water, and shade.
Bye.